Do you think we are actually God disguising itself from itself to have an experience?
Yes.
Yeah, me too.
100%. Yeah, because, what finds it to be a little vibrational blob. And then we have to hey, you want to go to Earth? Yeah. Cool. All right, let's go.
Are we one? Are we infinite? Are we temporary?
Tonight's guest is an incredible composer of ambient music, specifically in frequencies alternative to the regular 440 hertz. Is that what we call it?
Yeah.
Astra.
Hello. Thank you for having me.
Thank you for being here. Let's start there. Could you want to explain a little bit about this frequency stuff?
Sure. Yeah, so standard musical tuning as 440 hertz, which was standardized in the early 1920s. Prior to that, it was a bit all over the place, depending on the harpsichord that was present in the theater or the composer's studio. And I'm working primarily in 432 hertz, and my studio is all in that. So any Wurlitzer or piano or any other acoustic instruments are tuned to that. And I've seen the geometry and the mathematics of that tuning, and it's in direct alignment with sacred geometry and platonic solids and all of that. And I like how it feels.
I love how it feels. I mean, I didn't tell you this, but I recorded I recorded 2 albums in 432 hertz.
Okay, cool.
Yeah, and it really made a difference, especially in the bass. It was really interesting.
Yeah.
It felt like the bass just went straight into my chest and vibrated it.
Yeah.
And I actually remember I played it to a few of my friends when I first did it, and we A-B'd it. And some of my friends got a very sort of sickly reaction to it.
Oh, wow.
Yeah. And I think that actually is good, because I think they were just having a reaction to the emotion. It was just too much for them.
Just clearing their energy.
Exactly.
Yeah.
But most people felt wow, there's power there. But I listened to a lot of your music, and it really, really instantly moved me. I mean, we met very recently.
Yeah.
So unlike some of my other guests, I don't actually know you. All our other guests who have come to this show so far, I've known them for some time.
Yeah.
And I just met you, and I listened to your music, and I was just wow. Absolutely blown away by it. It really made me feel something, and it really made me go into a very deep meditative state for a long period of time. So you're a master at that. How did you get into all that?
Well, I was working in mainstream music for a long time, since I was a teenager, working in studios, and then I just got curious. I started listening to binaural beats in music in 432 and 444 hertz tuning, because I was looking for ways to focus better, to lower my stress. I had really crazy ADD, and I read one sentence and then I'm staring out the window, and I'm just looking for things to help myself. So part of that research was I came across music as one of those things, or binaural beats as one of those things. So I start listening to other people's work and find that it's quite helpful. So then through working with psychedelics and other inner work on myself, decided to start creating this music, and created the first album with a couple friends of mine, and mixed it in Dolby Atmos surround sound.
Wow.
And that was we wrote that in 2017. It released in 2018, 2019. So it was kind of before Atmos was popular in music. We had to mix it at a film studio. And I just we made that music. We just prayed over it, really, like it was really for deep healing.
Wow.
I didn't even know how to release the music then, because I was so used to working for other artists and record labels. And we'd just finish a project, you turn it in and go to the next one. I didn't even know how to, I felt silly, but I didn't know how. I was like, what do you do with this? Because there was no A&R person and there was no record label. So then I had to figure it out for ourselves. But it was all about the feeling, nothing on a tempo, nothing like that, just, painting and eyes closed and feeling every moment of it.
That's incredible. And did you just self-release it, or
Yeah.
there's no label?
There's no label. Yeah,
Wow.
we self-released it.
That's incredible. I mean, it really resonated, I'm sure, with a lot of people, because I saw you have a lot of plays on it.
Yeah, yeah, and that's all organic. Never paid for anything. No marketing. It just would have a lot of friends in the healing space and yoga space. Gave it to them. Everyone loved it. So then they shared it more, and then eventually started working with other distributors and such, and they helped us pitch us for playlists at the DSP, Spotify, Apple, Amazon. And they gave us some love, and we got on some different playlists, and that album grew, and then I wrote a lot of other music myself, or with friends as well.
That's beautiful. I love how it just sort of evolved organically, and the you can feel the healing in the music for sure.
Yeah.
So I love the fact that everyone resonated with it, and through word of mouth, it just spread like that.
Yeah.
So tell me about the process of, like, because you said it was coming out of some psychedelic experience and deep healing experience. Was that specific to, like, did you know that you were going to go and do a music that was like a form of music that was related to that space, or?
Yeah.
Yeah?
Yeah, exactly.
Wow.
Yeah. DMT.
Oh, wow.
Yeah. And I had brought a friend of mine to work with the medicine, and he had an amazing experience. And then our friend that was facilitating, he had already surround sound in his healing room, and you're in a hammock already, and he's got crystal bowls and all these instruments around you. And we were just all talking, and then my friend says, we should make some sound for the room. I say, I would like to do that. Let's do this. So that we went to my studio, and we got the Oberheim out, the Nord, the guitars, everything, just analog.
Wow.
And start painting these layers. I did a lot of research on the science, but also the metaphysics. So I wanted to put everything together. Theta brainwave state, solfeggio tones, mapped to all the chakras, what sounds fit the different chakras, what does that feel like, what is the world of that chakra, and all of that, and just put it all together and see what the resonance is that comes back, and it's quite profound.
What were you feeling when you were actually putting it together? Because the reason I'm asking actually is because I know how difficult it is to make music.
Yeah.
And there's a part of the process that's creative, but there is also a part of it that's technical and pushing buttons and stuff.
Yeah.
So how did you bridge those worlds? Because you were having such a deep experience, and at the same time, you still have to do the technical stuff.
Yeah. So the first album started with me and my friend Andrew. And he was on one keyboard, I was on another, or I was on a keyboard, and he's an amazing guitarist, so he'd be on the guitar through a bunch of effects pedals, and we would just generate a sound. So we might say, okay, this is in D, all right, cool, record, and then we just start painting. Then I started to notice, like, all right, what are these songs comprised of? Okay, we need a drone. Then we need some, other layers, the pads, bid layers, all that. Nature sounds. Okay, what nature sound goes with that? So then after recording a few tracks, then I started to, like, methodically, like, okay, I can map this whole thing out, sort of, in the Pro Tools we worked in at that time. And so I mapped the whole thing out. Then we were able to paint all the sounds to it. And then we had another friend at the time who came in after and added his touches to that particular album. And then after that, I was creating things I was creating on my own. I was working like with a looper. So I would start with like a low drone type sound. It could be a Moog or Oberheim or Prophet or something. And I would just feel it, where to loop it, no time signature. Grab that loop. And then I'd grab the next sound and just feel I like that. Okay, loop that. And I would get all these loops going. And they're just moving in kind of an endless... I think that's part of it, is that like nothing is on a time signature. So it's sort of... You can't really figure out what's starting and stopping where, because the loops don't match up necessarily. It's all very like amorphous. So that's how I did a lot of it. Then I bring it into the computer and then start doing sound design, reverbs, delays, how just start affecting things. But the whole time is feeling, not logic. I'm not trying to hit a playlist. I was like, what feels like I'm transcending?
And you are transcending yourself while you're making this music.
Yeah, I need to feel that. All those albums were made like that.
It's incredible. And what do you feel, if you can put it into words?
It feels like an openness. I feel a stillness. There's no bumps. If something's not right in a piece of music, for me, when I'm listening, I feel like a hiccup, like a glitch in my body. I cringe. So when it's right, it's just present moment bliss.
Amazing. And I can tell from a little bit of conversation that we had before that you previously, before doing this, you did other styles of music and stuff.
Yeah.
Did music always have some kind of spiritual angle for you?
Well, not always, but I guess it started. I became conscious of it, I'd say, in my early 20s.
All right. And with which artists?
Well, I remember one time with the Beatles, actually.
Yeah. Do you remember the track?
It was a track that Phil Spector produced. I'm not going to remember right now. A very famous song.
Oh, yeah. Is it Nothing's Gonna Change My World?
Maybe, actually.
I think it was that...
with the big wall of sound orchestra in it.
Yeah, I think it's Let It Be was the one that Phil Spector did.
Yeah, it wasn't Let It Be the song.
No, but the album.
The album, yeah. It might have been that. A gorgeous song with the orchestra and all that. I remember that being one profound moment. But it was also just like in the research and between spirituality and then looking for things to expand my consciousness, I was just always enamored with that. And I was always very perceptive of energy, and always my whole life since I was a child, and what was going on and what I was feeling in the room and what everyone else was thinking and feeling and channeling in the moment. So it was sort of an organic growth from popular music into that. And at a certain point, I felt very strange to be in the studio with popular music because it wasn't in 432. And I felt really like, how can I do this when I know this tuning doesn't feel right to me?
Does 440 grate on you now?
Depends. Mostly, but it depends on the composer. So a really great composer or a really great artist, I still listen to it and I can enjoy it. It doesn't have the same feeling to me as 432, and I'm not against 440. So it just depends.
Do you believe that 440 is like an intentionally agitating frequency that we've been forced to listen to?
I'm familiar with the theory. I don't know. I there's probably times where I've thought, oh yes, and there's times where I'm like, maybe, maybe. But then I got to a point in life where I'm like, yeah, maybe, but I don't know. I
Yeah.
wasn't there, and who cares really? Because I'm just gonna do my part,
Yeah.
you know.
When I did my 432 album, I sent it to some of my friends, and one of them really wanted to challenge me and was like, "This is just bullshit. Like, you're just imagining it. Like, you want it to be that, so that's what it is to you."
Yeah.
And I didn't know the math and the science and the things that
Yeah.
you research, so I didn't know what to say to him. But I was just like, "Dude, I feel it. I really,
Yeah.
really feel it."
Yeah.
So, have you ever had people challenge you on that?
Sometimes, yeah, not a lot, but a few, and they're nothing like intense. Just like they're good conversations. Sometimes it's like very music industry producer friends, or they're amazing session musicians, but very rare. Maybe a couple times, maybe like, I don't know about this. Well, I'm like, yeah, well, let me show you. Let me, let's listen to it together. Let's see, think about it a little bit. I see people more on the internet that get a little more, they get aggressive more, not with me, but just in these, sometimes I come across someone else who's posted something positive about 432, and there was actually just a Rolling Stone article the other day about one of Bob Marley's sons. Was it Ziggy? I don't remember his name. One of the Marleys. I think James Blake was in the article, and another very popular artist. Ed O'Brien from Radiohead, and they had all done albums in 432. James Blake, I can't confirm. I think so as well, but I saw his face in the article. I know the other two guys did because I had listened to the albums, and I had known this from before. And it's funny, this came across, and then this has all happened in the last week. I saw that article, and then another friend of mine sent me a video from some other amazing producer named Daedalus, and he was listening to this R&B album that an artist had put out, and they had made it in 432, and it was a new trending like R&B album, and I thought, okay.
That's so cool.
Cool, people are catching on. So then in those comments, people are like, oh, this is bullshit. And it's like, okay. Sure, Yeah,
when you're making 432 sounds with a synthesizer, do you actually turn the oscillator down to that level, or do you pitch shift it later?
No, I tune it at the source.
Oh, amazing.
Yeah, I don't really like to do it later. I have. But for my music, it's all at the source. Sometimes if I've worked on something for someone else, and then we had to shift some things, and we had to do it in the computer, and they weren't able to recreate those things. But yeah, all at the source for sure.
Oh, yeah. Cool.
Yeah.
So I'm actually really curious, because the math and the platonic solids thing that you were talking about, I've heard different, and the chakras and all that. I've heard different people say things about that, and I heard stuff about the gongs as well, that are tuned to the different planet frequencies. Right. What does all that mean? Can you explain it?
Sure. Well, there's an amazing polymath, Robert Grant. You may know of him. He's got quite a following on Instagram, and he's done a lot of research on the correlation between the sacred geometry, the platonic solids, and musical tunings. And I had a chat with him one time, and he showed me this research, and it fully lined up and it made sense. And at the time, I was making geometry out of frequencies and using a vectorscope. And I showed him his drawing from sound. So it's like I verified his work, he verified my work.
Whoa.
And it was like, okay, cool. Yeah, that works. So that's a guide. If someone wants to know about this, go check out Robert Grant's work. It's extensive. It's all on his website as well, and on his social media. And then there's another composer, an Italian guy. I'm not going to think of his name right now. He's a friend of Robert's, and he's done some extensive work and research on the tunings as well. He's actually even created tuning files for analog synthesizers and for a number of plugins that can be used to tune them to 432, especially ones that they might not be so easily tunable. And also Robert came up with what he calls Grant's tuning, or 432 precise tuning, which it measures. He's measuring each interval between the notes. It's not like a just tuning where you say, okay, this is A432. Now from here, as we go down the keyboard, it's all relative to that 432 note. He's made this own tuning that's precise to the geometry, that goes down to 13 decimal points between some of the notes.
Whoa.
Yeah. So the harmonics and overtones of that are fascinating, and I want to create more with that. And you can do it with plugins. There's a plugin that Aphex Twin, I forget his name, James, is it? That he made that's called ODD, ODD, and then now there's a couple other plugins out there where you can. I mean, even with the new Ableton now, 12, where you can put your own scales in here, right?
Cool.
So now you can take Grant's tuning, and I did it with Aphex's plugin, and put the Grant's tuning in, and then through MPE, you can trigger soft synths or analog synths, and it sounds wild. It's really cool.
Amazing.
Yeah. So that's some amazing research out there. As far as the gongs being tuned to planets, I don't know that too much about that, and I've heard of that, of course. I've tried to research what's a planet sound like, but I think that's a little tougher to grasp. I feel like I believe it, but like there's not a lot of data out there that I could find.
Right.
Yeah.
What do you think, because when you mentioned the chakras, what is going to happen if you listen to music that's resonating with a specific chakra? What will one experience?
Well, we hope we can clear that chakra. We can put it back into its geometric harmony, and we can, restore it to its highest functionality and vibrational level. So now it's opening, it's flowing. So they may feel that opening in that area. If it's something that's been really closed up, there could be an emotional release to it. But to feel like energy's moving in their physical body and in their energetic body.
Do you play live gigs?
I have, yes.
And do you ever notice what happens to people as they're listening?
I've played a lot of sound baths in the past, as well as other just listening events. So in those cases, if it's this type of music, they're lying down, their eyes closed, going to a different planet. But yeah, I used to do a lot of sound baths in LA with crystal bowls and with synths, and people loved it. It was really transcendent, and I was very picky about the sound baths that I would go to. There weren't many that I would. There was one, a friend of mine, Joel Shearer, that I went to, and that was probably one of the only other transcendent sound baths I had been to. There might have been one other one maybe, but I remember going to Joel's, and he does all his stuff with the guitar and pedals. It was all 432, and I was like, yeah, that was nice, man.
Amazing.
Yeah.
And then just like in your daily life, how does music and meditation or any other practice, how do these things sort of work together in your daily life?
Yeah, meditation every morning, breath work every morning, some kind of movement practice, yoga or physical training every morning. So that's the foundation of starting the day. And I put that into practice over 10 years ago when things had to change. I was tired of myself, where my head was at, my imbalance of emotions and such, and I decided, okay, I'm gonna drag myself outside in the morning to meditate before I do anything else. I'm not doing anything else until I do this, and that built a practice.
How long did it take for you to go through a transformation from a period where you felt like you weren't happy with yourself into something where you felt like, oh, I'm in a role that, you know, I'm still not at the destination, but it feels better now.
Yeah, it was through a lot of different methods, and it was. I feel like I got a probably pretty good handle on it in a year, but those layers just keep coming. So I'd say it's constant. I mean, what are we in 2026? So I'd say like after 10 years, it's like, this is pretty steady.
Great.
But definitely big breakthrough after a year for sure, right? We're in a much better place, but then there's always more.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Did you have a mentor or did you just do it yourself?
Didn't really have a mentor if in the spiritual respect. Some friends who are, I guess sort of in a mentor sort of way, but there was a lot of different things I tried. So it was like a lot of energy healing with different people. And there are some, friends in my life that are absolutely profound. And some of it was psychedelics. Some of it was somatic therapy. There were yoga teacher trainings. There was energy healing training that I did just so I could take on more skills in myself. It was for myself. If other people were going to be practitioners, but I just needed to keep peeling away the layers of myself. So it was just all those things, and I was finding it through friends, because you work with someone, they say, well, go, you should meet this person. Okay, they say, well, meet this person. Okay, that feels good too, and you find your way through good people.
Yeah. What was the somatic modality?
Somatic experiencing with Hala Corey. She's just writing books now, I think. She's in Venice. Amazing practitioner. It was a recommendation from a friend, and that was a fascinating experience, and really deeply healing to through visualization go to these core wounds, these core traumas and core experiences, and really be able to meet them and release them.
That's incredible.
Yeah.
And do you feel like when you release them, they were released for good?
Yeah.
That's incredible.
Yeah, I do. And there was stuff in DMT where I met, and it was gone.
Wow.
Completely gone.
Wow.
Yeah.
That's wild. I mean, it's just very moving to me, because I have had some real breakthroughs myself in certain things, but then sometimes, things rear their head for me again.
Sure. Yeah, we all got some things. I'm not, it's not, I still got a couple things kicking around, but the thing is, with the medicines and with the different experiences, you didn't know like always which thing was going to, sometimes I would confront things that I didn't think I was going to go in and confront. I was like, oh, okay, cool. Yeah. Let's definitely get rid of that, but I might've had something else in mind. And, so it's interesting what you get served.
Yeah.
Yeah. So it's really interesting. I got this one that's hanging around. I'm trying to figure out how to deal with it. But yeah, it's an interesting one.
What do you think? I mean, I'm getting a picture that you're quite disciplined.
Yeah.
What do you think the role of discipline is in one's spiritual journey?
Discipline is it's like devotion, and this is what gets things done in the physical plane, which is also getting things done in the etheric plane. It's like chopping down a tree. We don't want to chop down trees, but sometimes we have to. But you can't just hit it once and then walk away. You gotta go at it until it does what you want. So this is like anything in life. It's like going to the gym, right? Or working out. Can't just go and do some curls on Monday and then 2 months later go back to the gym again. What are you doing? Nothing's going to happen. And this is the same thing for anything in your life. So this is devotion to the art, devotion to the craft. For me, I feel so grateful and honored that I am free to a extent, freer than most, and I keep getting more and more free as I go, as I keep devoting. And it's part of this is a thank you to myself, higher self, this, God, universe, whatever we want to call it, that I'm so grateful I get to do it, that I keep showing up. Doesn't matter. I'm tired most of the time. I don't care. I'll show up. I'm sick. I'm sitting at the desk. I don't care. So to me, that's just, I'm honoring it. And it gives back to me for that.
When you say the desk, you mean the music desk? Or?
Yeah.
Yeah. So you make music every day?
Every day.
Wow.
Minimum 12 hours, unless I step out, come here.
Whoa, really?
10 to 10 minimum.
Wow.
Yeah. Every single day.
And you work out and you meditate?
That happens before 10.
Wow. You are very disciplined.
Extremely.
That's incredible.
Yeah. And yeah, but no one's giving it to me. And the bank account's not that full sometimes, And even if it was, I just love it so much. There's so much I want to do. And I don't know. I need a lot of years for all the creative ideas that I have, and I barely have executed a percentage of them. So I'm so excited to get to the next thing and make the next thing and realize this art and this work. Yeah, I don't know what else I would do. I can't just sit down. It's boring to me.
Wow, that's so inspiring. What do you think of people or like cultural waves, let's say, that you see on Instagram? I see a lot of people kind of not being so disciplined, but being very verbal about like calling out things that are like traumas. But then it seems like, they do the medicines or they do the things, but I know very few people who have the same kind of discipline that you have. Especially a lot of people who are on that path.
Yeah.
What do you think about that?
You have to integrate. So all that stuff, but if you keep going back to the medicine, keep going back, what are you doing? I don't think you're learning the lesson.
Right.
You have to, we are under the perception that we're in a physical reality, and to move things in that perceived physical reality, it takes physical action. So once you have been shown some things, and most people know the path, but they're just scared. You know what you have to do. I know what I have to do. Some people invite me to a thing or two now, and I'm like, I don't need to go. I know what I have to do. And what I have to do is it takes physical work.
Yeah.
It's really that simple. Now the different practices or medicines are great to help open oneself to that work. But sometimes you just have to jump in and you have to do that work.
Well, that's incredible. What is music to you exactly? What do you think music actually is?
It's a language. It's a universal language beyond this planet, beyond this realm. I feel like it is fully a universal language, transcends all realms.
I agree with that. I feel like it's also a code that encodes. I feel like when I sit at the piano, and I'm improvising, and I'm just like working out like chord shapes, and suddenly I find something that works.
Yeah.
I find that it's downloading some kind of universal secret to me
Sure.
that I can't even express in words.
Yeah.
It's just like a knowing.
Yeah.
And like it could be telling me the angle at which DNA spirals or something like that. You see what I'm saying?
Which I've seen, by the way, from frequency.
Yeah, tell me.
From well, I was playing around with 528 and 144. You put these two frequencies together, and you have to phase shift one. You have to have a pair of each. So you have to really make like a binaural of each. And 528 and 144 together on a vector scope create the flower of life. And then 5280 and 144 create a torus field. And then I start manipulating the phase shifting those, and I realized that the flower of life is actually a flattened torus field. It's actually the same thing. And then the DNA is actually a torus field stretched out.
Wow.
So I have it on from a vector scope playing, watching the DNA spindles going like this, and I realize everything is the same field. It just modulated.
Right.
Yeah.
I mean, that's basically what octaves are,
Yeah.
modulated frequencies.
Yeah.
How does Western scales and Western, like, let's just say, okay, you tune at 432,
Yeah.
right? So you're in that frequency range that's resonating with the system, but you're still using a Western scale of dividing the notes into 12 notes into an octave.
Yeah.
What do you think is, have you ever thought about what is special about that, or if it is special, or if it is like manufactured, or because obviously like Eastern music doesn't have the same octave. It has like the quarter notes. And
right.
What does all that mean to you?
To me, it's just another part of the language. It's like another dialect. That's what it is to me. Mm-hmm. It's like okay, you can go to Italy and there's Italian, but then there's different dialects and in Sicily and different regions. You can do the same thing in Spain and other Spanish-speaking countries, right? So that's how I see it.
I love that.
Yeah.
So this language of music, what does it express to you, and what do you use to express with it?
Expresses to me presence. And what was it again you said?
Like, what do you express to other people with music?
Ah, okay. Presence. And also, I feel like it paints a world. So certain compositions give me a visual depiction of a world that they put a vibrational painting around me, and so that's what I offer to others, and I think that's what other musicians are offering as well, whether they know it or not. Like I always love listening to Brian Eno and Harold Budd. I don't know if you're familiar with Harold Budd, but he was one of the forefathers of ambient music. He's since passed on. He was much older than Brian Eno, and they did make some records together. And some of these records, and I think they're in 440, but even still, you put it on, and it's like it's a whole world opens up. I feel like the city has gone away. We're in our own world here. So, yeah.
Are you done with making songs in a conventional way, and like 3-chord structures and?
Not necessarily. I'm making other genre. Yeah, I'm making house music. I'm making like kind of soul, chill wave kind of. Yeah, I like other genres of music. So no, and it's funny because like in me creating my own music, even though in the past I've created lots of different types of music, but a lot of music that just like didn't release or I thought was like this is not good. It's like me learning. So like really beyond working on other people's music, the first music of my own to come out is ambient music. Now making literally hundreds of compositions of ambient music, I don't want to make it in that same style anymore. I'm making other things because just from an art perspective, I'm still interested in art. So now it's like cool. What's this chill wave album in 432? That's just like we were talking before, like art, but then art that also has a spin of harmony to it. So how can we put people on the dance floor? But it's 432, but it's still that art. So I'm doing a lot of that now.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
Yeah, I've been having a discussion with some of my friends quite a lot recently about how people are sort of conditioned and easily accept presence and in a sound bath. Like they will go in and not speak for 90 minutes and close their eyes and immerse themselves in the sound. And it used to be this way with music like bands, but it doesn't seem to be that way that often anymore with music. And quite often people experience music in social settings where they're talking over it, where they're not fully present with it.
Right.
Or even when they listen to music, on streaming services or whatever, it's so easy. It's not like taking out a vinyl and putting it on and making a ritual to listen to it.
Right.
Why do you think that? Why do you think people don't give composed music or music with lyrics or music with, sort of Western harmonics scales, the same kind of presence as they do to, like sound bath music?
I feel like it's just kind of what's going on right now in society in terms of like sort of ADD culture in a sense, and everything is fast. The internet in our pocket, the phones, there's just like a lot of information moving around fast, and I think for some people it's hard to switch off of that with that there. And prior to the smartphones and all that, even if you were a sort of ADD person, well, you didn't have a phone to pick up, so you had less distractions. You couldn't really get away from it, and now those distractions are present. So if you're prone to that and you're not consciously aware of it, then you might be overcome by it.
But those same people will be present in a sound bath. That's the thing.
Yeah, because I think it's because they set that precedence. It's like you're not allowed in with the phone on. This is just how it is. Some people say, okay, sure, and they respect that. So now that brings forth some intentional listening events. A lot happening in LA. Leaving Records does them. Matthew David, who runs that, loves to do those events, and many others are doing them. And there's like, okay, this is intentional listening. Like the phones are going away, or where we met actually, right? We had to put our phone in the envelope.
Yeah.
And I was like, what's going on with this? But it did work.
Yeah, it
great. Worked. Like we respected it. Maybe we checked a text message or two, but it did work.
Yeah.
And so I can respect that.
Yeah, me too. Amazing. So what's next for you? I know you're in the studio every day, but
yeah, there's a string of EPs that I've created with different friends, and I'm working through those. And there's an album I'm making for myself, for my Astra project, that'll go with my visuals, and just figuring that. I mean, I know what the sound is sort of, but I'm developing that sound, and I'm sketching things for that sound. There's another project with my friend Aaron that is this like chill wave soul house kind of vibe that's like really cool. It has like pop hooks and all that, and it's just really strong from a songwriting perspective.
Amazing.
And I'm excited about that. Yeah.
Do you make the visuals yourself?
Yeah, all my album art and all the moving visuals I make myself.
Amazing. And do you think about them when you're making the music too?
Sometimes. Sometimes a vision comes to me or like a sort of vibe idea of what something might be. And then other times, like, I just get in front of the Figma or Photoshop or Illustrator. It's like, it's stream of consciousness again, just like the music is. Start with a triangle. I'll put this gradient on it. What if I do this, we'll do that, put a blur on there, and you just start painting. And then it's like, hey, that's pretty cool. Yeah, I'll go with that.
Amazing.
Yeah.
That's so cool. Do you think that, I don't know, like how AI is integrating with music, do you think, how do you think that's going to affect the space that you're in?
Not much. A lot of people are worried about it, but I'm not. I think the streaming platforms, some of them are rolling out their own AI music. I know Spotify is, whether they want to admit it or not. I think they've admitted it. Well, it's not good. The music's just not good. Sorry.
Yeah.
I don't like it. I can tell it feels soulless. This is what we have to remember, that when someone creates something, their energy channel goes into that creation. And it's just like, I love listening to like Earth, Wind, and Fire, right? We don't even have to worry about tunings with that. I mean, these guys were so joyous and baked that into the analog tape. It radiates from the music. And so you don't get that with quote unquote AI music. And it's sterile. Yeah. And we are all souls with bodies, and we feel. We don't just hear, and we can tell the difference between sterile and non-sterile, and there's no connection. And people want connection too. People want to love an artist. They want to know them as a person too, right? They want to know their whole body of work and all that kind of stuff. And you can't really do that with AI. Will there be a market for it? And will some people like to know all about an AI artist? Sure. Is there anything wrong with that? No. Enjoy. If you like that, okay. It will be there in a small market. Will AI music take away some of the market share from souls and bodies, from artists? Yeah, but not a lot. I don't believe it's a significant share. So if they take a few dollars from my pocket and a few from yours and a few from everyone else's, will that equal millions or potentially billions of dollars? Yes. Will it detract enough from each individual person to notice the impact? Not really. I believe we exist in the market with it together, and I believe that there's people out there, like let's say Music for Sync. That's another place to really look for the AI music. There's going to be companies that are like, yeah, I get the AI music. We don't care. Okay, enjoy. And then there's the other companies, these ad agencies, all that. It's like, no, we want the music made by the real artists, and they're still going to employ that.
I feel that.
Yeah.
I really love what you were saying about Earth, Wind, and Fire, because I really feel that. Like, and a lot of the time when I listen to music from that era, I get so happy because I really feel that joy.
Yeah.
And when you were talking about language earlier, like music is a language, I've often thought that it's and kind of what I was trying to say about the truth of the universe thing is that let's just say there's an artist who feels something, right? and they vibe on that feeling, and that they put that feeling into music,
Yeah.
right? Then that music gets listened to by a listener, and the listener interprets the vibe that came from the source through the music. And
Yeah.
so it's sort of like a chain of communication
Yeah.
from some feeling that the artist grabbed out of the universe,
Yeah.
and that ends up being retranslated back through the mind, body, and soul
Yeah.
of the listener
Yeah.
as the original
Yeah.
feeling. And I really feel that so hardcore in that 70s music, you know.
Oh, absolutely.
Yeah.
Curtis Mayfield.
Oh my God.
Yeah.
Actually, you know what? With Curtis Mayfield and also Marvin Gaye, I hear a lot in their vocal ad-libs.
Yeah.
It's just so delicate. Like there's
Yeah.
just like micro movements of their
Yeah.
voice,
Yeah.
and there's like a world in that.
Yeah. Oh, 100%.
Art and spirituality, what is the relationship of these two words for you?
Sure. Well, I believe art is a spiritual practice, whether one is aware of it or not. It is. And there's also the art of spiritual practice. So it goes both ways in that, and I believe they're intertwined. I believe any practice is spiritual. You could be a doctor, a lawyer, you could be a person picking up the trash. It's all about how you do it, and that process and that devotion you have to it. One time, there was a trash person. Was living in Griffith Park at the time, and I was doing a lot of late studio nights, and so I was getting up a little bit later, but not that much later because I can't sleep past the sun usually, but I forget to put the trash out, and this guy would beep the horn nicely, and I'd run down and pull the cans out. One time I thanked him, and he had these big shades on, older fellow, like something you'd probably wear if you had like glaucoma or something. He probably did. And I was like, man, thank you so much. You know, I really appreciate you. And you know, like, how's your day going? He's like, man, I'm blessed, man. I'm here. I'm here with my brother. We're just picking up the trash, and I'm really blessed. Like, he went on a whole thing. I provide for my family, everything, and he's probably in his 50s, maybe he's in his 60s actually. But he wasn't just saying that. He was squarely in his purpose on the back of the trash truck.
Wow.
And I was like, wow, okay, this guy's important. Not just this guy, but all the people are important. Everything is important. And frankly, the trash people and the sewage people might be the most important, because it's not going to be fun doing much else if you got sewage in your feet. It's going to smell really bad. So I really believe in that equality there. And so yeah, the spiritual practice of art and the art of spirituality.
Yeah, that's beautiful. I had a really cool Muhammad Ali quote the other day.
Yeah.
He said something like a great, or you can tell a man is a great man if he treats someone who collects the trash the same as someone who's supposedly important.
Yeah. Absolutely. I saw that on the internet the other day. Shaq said that.
Yeah,
I reposted
that's what I saw.
it. Oh, yeah.
Maybe that's what I saw.
And I was like, yeah, I really like Shaq. I mean, I don't know him personally, but I like what he says, and he treats people like that, and I think that's interesting. Actually, I met a woman one time, or a young woman one time. I forget where right now, but she told me, she said, Shaq bought me lunch one time. I was like, what? She said, yeah, I went in and then I realized like I didn't have any money. I got to the counter and I was like, oh no, I don't have any money. And then I walked out. I was getting in my car and this big guy walks up and he's like, hey. And she turns around at Shaq and he's like, I got you for the lunch. And she's like, what? And some guy, guy like that, he's just always doing those kinds of things. You blessing people because you can.
Yeah.
And I think that's important.
Yeah, that's amazing. I heard that after Prince died, a bunch of people sort of came out saying that he was paying for their college education.
I believe it.
Yeah, and and they didn't know, or maybe they did know. I don't know, but nonetheless, they didn't know. They didn't know till he died, and then the estate informed them.
Crazy.
Which is crazy.
Yeah, a lot of people. There's a lot of people in the world like that, just doing nice things, and it's not. It's not about the public accolades to them. You know. Yeah.
What do you think of Prince, by the way?
What a genius.
Right?
Wow.
Yeah.
What a genius. My friend was his personal DJ for a while.
Wow.
And my friend Dan, DJ W, he goes by. He's a very underground kind of cat. But somehow he linked up with Prince. And Dan's a guy who has a musical knowledge that is beyond so crazy that Prince was asked him for his playlists.
Wow.
And asked me, like, what is that you just played? And I was like, oh, that's a B-side from that thing from 62. And Prince is like, okay. So Prince really liked him. And I had some other friends who toured with Prince, played with him a lot. And after he passed, I went and visited. I never met him personally. I went and visited at Paisley Park and toured around, and I could hear him though there.
Wow.
Just talking with me, and you got to see how connected he was to spirit by being in his space, and what was painted on the walls, and the books that were around, and everything, ancient civilizations, Egypt, Atlantis, pyramids, all kinds of sacred geometry, and all these things. So this was a fascinating cat.
Yeah. Oh yeah. Well, what did you hear when you heard him talking?
It was like positive affirmations for what I was doing at the time. I was creating these first ambient albums with my friends.
Wow.
And he's like, yeah, that's it. It's 432. That's it. Like, and it was just that. He's like, he's like, you're doing it. And I was like, okay, cool.
Yeah, people talk about Prince's musical genius, obviously, a lot. But as I've got older, I've really sort of gotten to really appreciate his lyric writing.
Oh, yeah.
I mean, he was on some real wake-up shit.
All of it.
Like, in the 80s.
Oh, yeah.
Like, way before anyone, you know what I'm saying?
He was just an awake guy, and he was completely, like, clairvoyant, clairsentient, all that. He was just built like that.
It's wild. I mean,
just that kind of being. Yeah.
If you listen to, like, Controversy,
yeah,
which was, I think, 1982. Or no,
yeah.
I think 1981.
Yeah.
I think 1999 was 1982. But anyway, Controversy is just the lyrics in that song are so, like, they're like today. He's like talking about today.
Oh, yeah.
It's crazy.
Well, also life is cyclical. So there's those iconic, there's things like that will never go out of style. It will always be talking about today.
That's true.
Yeah.
That's true. There's I'm a Prince fanatic, by the way.
Okay.
There's a track on Dirty Mind. It's the last track on Dirty Mind, which I think is probably 1980 or 79, probably 1980. But anyway, it's called Party Up.
Yeah.
Which apparently Morris Day wrote this song. I don't know if that's true or not, but the whole concept of the song is like, I don't want to fight no war. Let's just party.
Totally.
Yeah.
I mean, yeah. Who wants to have a war.
Right.
I mean, it doesn't sound like fun to me.
Definitely not
Some
fun.
people think it's fun, but they're just got different nervous systems, you know?
Do you think it's still possible for music to change the world?
Well, I believe it's always changing the world.
I believe so too.
Yeah.
But do you like with the? I mean, back in the day, like John Lennon, like
Yeah.
let's say he would write a song like
Yeah.
Imagine,
Yeah.
right, and that
Yeah.
would capture the imagination of
Yeah.
the world.
Yeah.
But do you think it's possible? Or Bob Marley had a lot
Yeah.
of songs like Redemption
Sure.
Song. Do you think it's possible for someone to have that kind of global impact, especially on like something that's I've thought about a lot with people like Bob Marley or
Yeah.
John Lennon, is that like future world leaders were fans of their music, you know?
Yeah.
Like Obama and Clinton
Sure.
for sure grew up listening
Right.
to Imagine, you
Yeah.
know what I mean?
Yeah.
So do you think there's any kind of music today that has the power to affect people who will go on to be important people in the world and have a positive impact on them?
Yes, I do. Not in an idealistic utopia kind of way. No, because this Earth construct, this particular program of this human experience, is not supposed to be a utopia. It's a dichotomy. It's a balance of dark and light, and so the answer is yes. It's certainly going to affect people positively. Will it affect world leaders positively? Sure, but doesn't mean that it's going to suddenly we're going to live in a utopia one day in this construct of human experience. Because I don't believe this program is that. That's a different program.
Right. Yeah. What you just said sounds very Taoist. Do you follow that or any other?
I've studied it a bit.
Yeah. Is there anything you follow specifically?
Nothing that I would put a label on. I'm just following what I believe the truth of this human experience to be.
Have you thought about that? Like what it all means? What is this for?
Oh yeah, I think about that all the time.
Yeah, what do you think?
We're just passing through having an experience. It actually all means nothing.
Do you think we are actually God disguising itself from itself to have an experience?
Yes.
Yeah, me too.
100%. Yeah, because, what finds it to be a little vibrational blob? And then we have to hey, you want to go to Earth? Yeah. Cool. All right, let's go. And all of a sudden you wake up crying, someone tickling your belly. And you're like, oh, shit. Damn. You thought this was a good idea? And then you go through the trials, the tribulations, the highs, the lows, the joy, the pain, the traumas, the gratitude. You get it all. But you can't get all this anywhere else. This is a unique experience. It's a unique carnival. And I believe there's a lot of different carnivals out there.
Oh, yeah.
I've been to a few.
Oh, amazing. Yeah. All right. Well, that's a great place to leave it.
Enjoy the ride.
Beautiful.
But that's just it. People enjoy. Be who you are. And enjoy yourself and express yourself to the maximum. That's it.
Amazing.
Be kind.
But okay, sorry, one more question. Do you think that because we both established that we both believe that we are and everybody is an expression of God having its own experience?
Yeah.
When you hit those times of real pain in your life, do you ever think to yourself, oh, I'm so lucky that I have this pain because I'm God and, life would be boring if I didn't have this. Like I chose this. I want this pain just to have the experience of it.
I don't think I've personally put that language around it necessarily, but usually the language for me is like, okay, what am I learning here? Okay, That's not going that way. So what's better? What's coming? What do I need to adjust? What do I need to shift? Or must I just be patient? What is this? So that's how I look at it.
And what is the I in that statement?
What is the I?
Yeah.
Well, I guess it could be. What do you mean by that exactly?
Well, because you said, what am I learning? Right?
Yeah.
But like, if you believe that you are an incarnation of divinity in a human form, then what is I in that respect? Why does God have to learn anything through your experience?
Because we've come into this incarnation and this experience veiled, and we've come in with amnesia, so we can have this experience. If we were completely open, fully, we would not be able to have this experience. We would just all go sit on a rock and meditate in the Himalayas, right? So it's a constant. It is that constant dichotomy, dipping in and out of like, I got this. I'm just God having an experience, to like, what the fuck is this? It's like, hold on, I'm just God having that experience. So it's just sort of, you're surfing. It's a constant, it's this wave. But then you can catch yourself if you're well skilled. So you can go like, oh, hold on. What's that? Okay, wait a minute. Let me dial this back. And so, we need to learn how we're navigating here for our highest and best of our incarnation here, because certainly you can make the pain worse, or you can make it subside with the right medicine. The medicine is the learning.
Yeah.
And it's just a game, really, though. It's just a one-player game with yourself.
That's, yeah.
Yeah.
That's basically, I mean, the title of this podcast and the title of the new record I have coming out, as I explained to you, is 1/infinity or 1/infinity. It's basically what you just described.
Yeah.
Is like, we're one consciousness, and we're also divided into infinite separate experiences from that one.
Yeah. So you got to have it all. It's a duality. It's like, I love you and I hate you at the same time. That's a good one for when you got something frustrating going on.
Do you feel, is that about a thing or about people ever for you?
Both.
Yeah.
Yeah, 100%.
Why do you think, you seem like such a chill and very enlightened person. Why do you think people hurt each other so much?
Unconsciousness. They forget who they are. So the more attached you are, the more you are open to the other realms, and you know better, but the more you're in this density of this experience, and the more veiled that you are, the more you're really in the stage show. You're really in the play.
For sure, though, what about people who are, like people in our community, who have done some work and who have, who are thoughtful people, still end up sometimes hurting other people? I know I have, inadvertently. I haven't wanted to, but, I always try and be a kind and the best person I can be, and I still end up hurting people sometimes.
Sure. It happens. Well, you also, communication is a big thing. And also, we don't know what someone else's triggers and traumas are. And sometimes you could do nothing. Just your presence could hurt somebody. But that's not necessarily your fault.
Tell me about that.
Well, because just being who you are might showcase a trauma. It might show them who they're not. It might show them it might remind them of someone that really hurt them in a different way. It could be anything like that. It's just like someone's confidence could, really scorn someone else's depressed demeanor, and the other person just showed up smiling with confidence. They didn't do anything else. They weren't arrogant. They were just there.
Have you ever found yourself in that position?
Sure.
What do you do when you find yourself there?
It depends. Sometimes you can talk with someone. You try to have a conversation with someone, and sometimes they're like, "Hey, you're right." They try. There's an understanding, and they know they got to do work on themselves. And sometimes they're not in a space to hear it, and they have to, go away. They go to their space. You go to your space.
And then how do you feel when you can't get through to someone, and someone is just automatically getting hurt just by you, the way that you actually are, without you intentionally trying to hurt them? How do you deal with that?
You can't do anything about that. So you just have to go. You go your way, they go their way. You can't.
But does it ever eat at you that's happening?
It has. It has at times, and over years though, I learned to deal with it. Like, okay, when it's happened enough times, especially with a certain person or a certain collection of people, then you just like, this is nothing new, and also, and then you got to clear your energy, because it's all energy. So you don't get if you're getting wrapped up in it. If you're getting emotional about it, most likely you got to clear your energy. You got to separate your energy.
So what's your practice for that?
Well, I studied theta healing, which is going into a theta brain state and issuing commands to clear that energy. Also listening to the music, listening to solfeggio tones and binaural frequencies, and focusing on the intention of clearing the energy, and asking Creator to clear that.
That is incredible. Is that something that you ever perform for other people, or are you just your own personal practice?
I have, but I don't. It's my own practice. I have, but these days I will just give a recommendation to a friend or a teacher who is in practice to do that. I learned that lesson last year. Just doing this for someone, and then my relationship with them got weird after, because then they felt weird that they divulged to me all these insecurities and secrets, if you will, and on my end, I'm like, this is nothing. Like, I don't care. It's like, it's whatever, just information. And so we learn.
Wow, that is so deep. I think that is so beautiful that when you find yourself in that kind of situation, or any other situation, that you have this practice that you can go to that clears your energy.
Yeah, everyone can do it. Some of us have more of the proclivity for it than others right from the start. Like a lot of things. Some people do yoga, do that back bend, the handstand right away. Some of us got to work a little more for it, right? But people can learn these practices and use that on themselves. And I think these are important practices, and we can step into the world more balanced. And a lot of this happens in romantic relationships too. People get their energy intertwined, and then people are getting hurt, feeling this physically, and it's this whole trauma and the drama. And I've been there myself many years ago, and I'll never be there again, because once you learn what's going on, then you'd be a fool to get wrapped up in it again.
I agree with you.
Yeah.
But a personal struggle of mine is that actually, whilst my intellect knows what you just said is true, there is something sort of on a soul level that like there's an attraction when there's that volatility.
Yeah. Because you can learn things.
Exactly.
Yeah. You could do some mirror work.
Exactly. Exactly.
Yeah, you just have to decide if that's how, if that's what you want to
But
do.
you avoid that now.
Well, I wouldn't, yeah, I guess you could say avoid, but I notice it, and then I just have like, okay, I see how this could play out. Do I want to do that? I'm good. I don't want to do that. I've done that. I'm not interested. They might want to do that. They can go do that with someone else.
Right.
I'm interested in something different. And I believe that exists as well. And I believe we attract what we are.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You're a deep brother, man.
Well, thanks.
Did you teach yourself the theta healing, or were you trained?
No, I went through training.
Amazing.
Yeah. Yeah. It's like a little Hogwarts.
How long did it take?
They're short classes, you do the beginner trainings, like 3 days, and do the advanced trainings, another 3 days, did another few modules, like 2-3 days at a time.
Amazing.
And during that, you're doing a ton of work on yourself. Clearing everything. And you're doing like work through your lineage, like through your, your family, through different lifetimes. I mean, it's extensive. They go deep. You come out of there like ringing like a crystal bell.
Wow.
So because you got to be that clear if you're going to then go and facilitate for others. It doesn't make you perfect. This is an incredible tool if you're a sensitive person, if you're an empath. The thing is, like, not everything's for everybody, right? And we're all built different for different reasons, because that allows us to enact on our purpose to which we came to develop this theater show, this experience that we're co-creating together. So like the investment banker, he or she or they maybe not supposed to go to this training because they won't be able to do what they need to do to uphold that kind of, facility. And then maybe there is one that should, actually, because they got to do something different there.
Wow. That is very interesting.
Yeah, man. All of it is a factor.
Yeah.
All of it is a factor. Like, some people got a lot of energy, some people kind of tired, some people this, that, some people got a physical ailment, some people got this thing, that thing. All those things affect what we can do, what we can't do, and how we can live this life. They are a factor in the divine timing of when we can do things and not do things, because it all has to work in perfect harmony and perfect orchestration. And if we're in control, but we're not. There's a limit to the control. You could push up against that.
Yeah. I had a theory, but it's not really my theory. I'm sure a million people have thought about it. But I was thinking, like, we've created AI, right?
Yeah.
And AI can overpower us in some ways and kind of go rogue and do things against what we designed it for. And it made me think, and this kind of goes against the idea that we're all incarnations of God, but it makes me think that if something created us, that we can overpower the thing that created us the same way that AI can overpower us.
No.
No?
Definitely not.
Why?
We are that. We are that us. We are the thing. We created us. We can't overpower ourselves. And, the whole AI thing, we are AI. You put these goggles on to be in what, 3-dimensional, however dimensional world,
Mm.
and then what, you pop out the other side of the goggles, guess what? Here we are in this fully action figured world. We are that. We're on the other side of those goggles. I think the whole thing is cyclical. It's like the snake eating its tail.
Yeah.
And they're just showing us the tip of it, you know, and I mean, look at Terminator, the film.
Yeah.
Where did ideas like that come from? It's all real. It's just when.
Right.
We're not going to see it in these bodies. It's a long burn to get to something like that.
Speaking of bodies, and you mentioned, like, I don't know if you used this word, but I think you were mentioning something to do with ancestral healing or ancestral trauma, generational. What is your view on, like, this generational stuff that happens, or there's the lineage of your biological family, like you, your parents, their parents, but that doesn't necessarily mean soul lineage, right? Like,
Correct.
right. So, and do they ever overlap? Are they ever the same thing, or are they just two completely different
Sometimes.
things?
Sometimes they overlap, yeah, for sure. And sometimes they don't. You know, it depends. Depends, you know, sometimes maybe you, maybe your grandmother is reincarnated as your nephew or something, like, you know, so it can, right? And then maybe not.
So when you talk about generational healing or trauma or whatever,
Yeah.
are you talking in the biological sense of your parents and their parents or are you talking on a spiritual level of, like, people you don't even know that you were connected to? And
Both.
haha, okay.
Yeah, you do both.
Yeah.
We got to go through both. Yeah.
That's interesting.
Other lifetimes, parallel lifetimes. This is like it's just like a whole holographic reality beyond human comprehension.
Have you ever had a sense of yourself in other lives?
Yeah.
Or what was that like?
It's fascinating. You know, it's fascinating to have those glimpses.
Do you connect to it as yourself, or are you observing someone else?
Both, I've seen.
Uh-huh.
I believe a lot of times when we dream, we're connecting to parallel realities.
I think so.
Yeah.
I've always felt that. I've actually, like, since I was maybe 8 years old, when I first started thinking about things,
Yeah.
that was the only explanation that made any sense to me.
Yeah. Yeah, for sure. And a lot of times on those realities, I do see me as me, but cause I'm a different me. It's another version. It's like, oh, if I turn that corner, if it went like this, if the story went this way, it would look like this right now. If the story went that way, it would look like this right now. You know, if I ignored the GPS and turned down that street, I'd be over there right now. But a friend told me one time, she's like, my friend Mary, who's one of the most profound energy workers that I've ever met. She's like, you can't fuck it up. So that GPS is pointed. But what you can do is you can delay it. And some people delay it too much, you might never get there. But you really can't mess it up. So it might take longer because you decided to take the wrong turn and you're off into the mud over there. Then you're going to get out and you're going to get back on and keep going down the road.
Wow.
I believe that. I've experienced that.
Like, in what way?
Just ways of fighting myself.
Yeah.
Instead of going forward with my inner knowing, that logical brain can really do some damage. It really wants to take control of that wheel. It really wants to plan something out. Think it knows.
Yeah.
It's a wild world. It's a wild playing field. There's multiple realities happening at the same time next to each other that don't interact, actually. But
What?
you can
Say
look.
that
You
again.
can. There's multiple realities happening at the same time that don't always interact, even though you can see them.
Oh. Yeah, I mean, like multiverse, you're saying, basically?
Kind of. Well, that's a multiverse, but I mean, like even just here on Earth, right? It's like a bunch of stores you drive past that you never go in, and you never will. But there's a whole sector of people that do. They have a whole reality going on that you know nothing about.
Right.
And they're connected to a whole other reality that you are not involved in. There's all that going on. So there's like it's quite the playing field.
Yeah.
And I just wish everyone the best. It's like, yeah. It's like, you know. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. Wish everyone the best. Peace, love, and yeah. That's all you can do.
Yeah. Agreed. Right on, man. Well, thank you. Thank you very much. That was
Thank you for having me.
really fantastic.
I appreciate it.
Yeah.
Thank you, brother.
Thank you.
Thanks for having it. Looking forward to seeing how you put it together.
Are we one? Are we infinite? Are we 10?